Hello, everybody. I'm gonna try to make this just a one-take video. A lot of my videos recently have actually been like one take, but I like edit them, splice them together so it's more like entertaining and like fast-paced and easier to get through. But this video is not for entertainment purposes. So what I am about to share with you and talk about and dive into has been kind of brewing underneath the surface, if you will, for a while. Yesterday was the first day I realized that I am stressed under the surface due to all of these changes that have been taking place and the reactions of a lot of people for these changes in my life. And I didn't think that I was stressed for the last few months because I have this crazy optimistic perspective on life. I'm very positive. I look for the lessons. I look for the growth opportunities. I lean into the challenging experiences because I know something positive and trust that something positive is going to come from it. So on the surface, on the external, on the day-to-day, I have felt so blessed, like so grateful, focusing on freaking all that there is to be grateful for, and through the hard moments, through reading through some of the hard comments, and of course I have to differentiate. I know there is a difference between constructive criticism, or those just sharing their hurt, or those just sharing their opinion, or those just expressing their perspective. I know that there is a very clear difference between that and then like straight up meanness, mean comments, like intentionally like, they take a stab at you. So yeah, I think there's been perhaps, I'm just gonna be like totally freaking real here, okay? And not that I'm not always real, but I am real. But this is like I said, this has just been brewing inside of me. So I want to just talk about it. So yeah, I think there's been this perspective. Sometimes when I refer to the like intense, harsh, mean commentary that I have received over the last few months, by the way, for anyone who's just somehow landing on this video for the first time, like you haven't been to my channel yet, I'll link my I'm no longer vegan video in the description of this so that you know where all of this began, or where the intenseness began. Anyway, so I think that sometimes when I talk about, recently, I'm all over the place right now, I have so much to say. When I talk about the intense comments that I have received, I think some people might think that I'm calling like everyone a hater who doesn't agree with me. And I've talked about this before, but that's not the case, you guys. I am like open and like wanting the constructive criticism. I want to grow. I want to improve. I want to do better where I've made mistakes in the past. Like I am a growth-focused freaking human being. So no, I'm not like, I'm not sharing a blanket statement of like anyone who disagrees with me is a hater. No. There is a differentiation. There are some people who are honestly just sharing that they are in a hurt position, that they're emotional, that they're attached to my decision, that it affected them, or like wanting whatever, sharing a suggestion. And then there's people who are like, get the I might include snippets. I might include some like screenshots of comments, but I might not, because like it's just straight up toxic. But there's comments on the other side. These are the ones that I'm referring to. These are the ones that I'm talking about today, and I have been talking about, are like, get the frick off this platform, like, you lying bitch, like, you don't deserve, like, you are like the least deserving person of this platform, like, you shouldn't even be allowed to be an influencer, like, you're a horrible person, you're like, just all of these names and like really mean things. And yeah, I can't even like convey verbally. I like I feel like I as a person, like, I can't even like begin to wrap my head around like, where do those intense fucking words and feelings and emotions, also pardon my swearing in this video, it is bound to pop up here and there, so I should have said in the beginning, if you are with any young children or anyone that you don't want to hear swears or you don't want to hear them, then you might want to not watch this video. Anyway, I can't even fathom, like, where do these intense freaking things that you're saying to me, who you don't even know on a personal basis, where do these things come from? I'm like dumbfounded. And anyway, I'm gonna point across, I'm gonna talk about all the freaking things in this video. I just chuckled because I'm like baffled. There were a lot of comments towards my interview with Drew, which was like the first video I came out with after my I'm no longer vegan video, which a lot of you have been like, that was such a bad idea to share that interview. It was so biased, such a bad idea because he's your boyfriend, because he's eating mostly carnivore, because he doesn't really like vegans. I see looking back now that I could have just come out with my own video. At that time, the reason I was thinking the interview would be a good idea is because, one, Drew communicates very clearly and kind of helps pull out my, I was gonna say inner truth, but I've been getting a lot of hate towards saying my inner truth, speaking my truth. It's like, I'm just gonna be so real here. The interview seemed like a good idea because I've known Drew for multiple years and we were friends in Hawaii and he knows me very well. He knows me like at the very beginning of, or like the middle of my veganism journey, and like he just knows me really well. So I thought the interview would be a good idea, and I thought that if I made the video on my own, I would forget to talk about a lot of things and that it would have like a more staged feeling. And so I wanted to do the interview so that it had a more like real, in the moment, like uncut feeling. I'm sorry that, like genuinely sorry that the interview was not received very well. And I do understand looking back now why, because Drew did have a lot of videos on his channel, like kind of sharing his honest thoughts about veganism. And his health was real. I'm not going to make this about him, but he had a really hard time at the end with veganism and it really messed him up in a lot of ways. And so he feels very heated about the topic. He also portrays himself in a totally different way than I do online. Drew is a much softer, more gentle guy. Drew, if you're watching this, I know you're not going to appreciate me saying you're more gentle, but the truth of the matter is Drew has recently realized that he has come across in a very harsh way on his channel, and it's just not totally necessary. And so he has shared with me that he intends to be shifting that soon. Anyway, I understand that from an outside perspective, for anyone who doesn't know me on a personal level, anyone who doesn't know Drew on a personal level or our dynamic together, I understand looking back, it kind of was weird. So I just want to say sorry for that. And I hope that this video can be the video that I wish I had it in me to share directly after my I'm no longer vegan video. But the truth is it's just taken time for me to get to this point where I feel so elevated about this topic and everything that has been said about me and all the freaking wrong things that have been said about me, and like so much that I finally reached this point, okay? I'm just gonna be real. Like, I'm a very freaking optimistic person. I look on the bright side. That's how I opened up this video, sharing that with you. That is my truth. Do not give me shit for saying that is my truth. Please, it's just the way I talk. But yeah, it just took a while to kind of reach this level where I'm like, I'm sick of it and I want to speak to it and I want to stand up for myself and I want to stand up for my business and I want to stand up for, I will dive into more of that in the future, but, or in later in this video. But yeah, I just reached this point and where do I go from here? Okay. Let's dive into how there were a few videos made about me there were hundreds of videos made about me and my dietary changes and everything over the last few months, like a lot of videos. But there were a few videos in particular that one individual on the interweb made about me, accusing me of all my perceived wrongdoings. And those videos have a lot of views on them. So chances are, maybe not, pray to God, maybe not, but chances are you've seen the videos I'm referring to. They painted me to be a very horrible, fucked up person. And I want to talk about it. Straight up want to talk about it because I haven't talked about it yet. And I've kind of just been internalizing it, and like the way that I have kind of handled, or lack thereof, handled conflict has been to not add to the fire, to not add more. There's a baby crying next door. I hope you do not hear the baby. Anyway, so I haven't wanted to add to it. I think I've had this vision in my mind, or this idea that me sitting down talking in this like elevated way, where it's really just like passionate, standing up for what I believe in and what I know to be true way. I think I've had this idea that like in me doing this, I'm adding to it, I'm making it louder, and I don't see it that way anymore. Right now, I see me doing this as a positive, to speak up for myself and to share that I fucking have a voice. And I haven't, like I said, I haven't wanted to do this because I haven't wanted to add to it. I think I've had this perspective of like, if I'm just quiet and continue on with the positive messages and continue on like sharing my life and like all is well, and I've had this like shell on almost, and I don't know, I don't perceive it as like a negative shell because it has kept me sane throughout this. Like I'm so optimistic is what my shell is, I suppose. Like keeping my head above water, just focusing on the positive. Anyway, so there have been things that have been said about me, and I've only watched through the videos once, so I don't like have it all memorized, but the vibe I got was that there was a lot of my old footage being dove into and basically saying like, you said 3 or 4 years ago, you said like you believe that you shouldn't eat animals, this is why it's messed up, these were your values, these were your beliefs, like this is what you were sharing, and now you're going against that and you're a fraud and you're a liar. I just want to talk about that because, again, I'm laughing because it's fucking comical to me. I'm not like laughing in like a snarky way or whatever these assumptions are about like, I'm laughing so I'm immature. I'm laughing because it's so far off from the truth. Yes, I ate a certain way. Yes, I saw the value in abstaining from eating animals a few years ago. But then I've reached this point with my health where I was just like completely surrendering, like give me any answer. I just want to get through one day without feeling like shit. Like I can't fucking think straight. Like my brain is not working. And so I reached this point where I was like, hands and knees, just like, please, anything, I'm willing to try anything for a week, even if it goes against the values that I have had for the last 3 years. Even if it goes against like what I so want to believe to be true, which is that I can live a healthy, freaking vibrant life forever on a vegan, plant-based diet. Even though the act of trying something for a week went against that, I was desperate. And that's the reality of it. That is the truth of it. And so to say that I'm like a fraud and like was leading people astray, for all of these years and like sharing things that I didn't even believe in myself, I believed in the ethics of veganism. I believed in the health of veganism. I believed in, or we can say plant-based. We won't even say veganism for anyone who doesn't want me to be attributed with that or connected with that. I was so in it. Like what part of me would ever want to, some of the assumptions really confuse me. Anyway, so yes, I was passionate about the plant-based way of living. And then I just reached this point where I was desperate to try something new. That doesn't mean that the year before or 2 years before or 3 years before that I was lying, that I was sharing something that wasn't true for me at that point in time. I've literally always shared my journey so openly, so honestly. Now let's talk about the lie situation, because it seems like there's this overarching situation of like, Alyse, you're a liar. And it like keeps coming up in the comment section, like, just don't lie to us. I never lied to you unless your name is Raw Vegan Ginger. And it pains me to have to say out loud that I did lie to Raw Vegan Ginger. And that so basically the situation was she was sending me voice messages or sending me DMs on Instagram asking how I was doing, whatever, am I still vegan? And I saw that she's like, it showed that my message was seen. I'm trying to explain this. So like, I knew that she saw that I saw her message. And so I felt like not responding in that moment was a very clear answer of, no, I'm not vegan anymore. Cause she kind of knew I was struggling with health stuff behind the scenes. That's why she was asking me like, what's going on? Are you still vegan? Are you going to tell everyone you're still vegan and why you're still vegan? Like really pressuring me. And so I knew that me not responding was basically giving the answer that I wasn't vegan. And the truth of the matter is that I wanted to share with you on my own terms. And so that is why I lied to her. Did I lie to anybody other than her in that one moment? No. And unfortunately, anybody can assume, well, you lied once, surely you can lie more times. But here's the deal. I didn't. And yeah, I don't know. It sucks to talk about, to be honest, but I'm a fucking human, just like you are, and shit happens. And that was my thought process in the moment, was that I wanted it to be my story. I felt like it was my story to share, and I didn't want her to share it with her audience and with my community or whatever, the world. Like, I wanted to be the one to talk about it. So it triggers me, honestly. It really hurts me that there's this perception that like I've lied, I've been lying for years, I'm a liar. I'm like, dude, me being vegan 3 or 4 years ago and then having this health situation come up and deciding to change my diet is not me lying to you. I never had any vegan related program or anything, or ebook or messages or anything, or blog posts release or anything when I was not vegan, because like, there's no reason for me. And there's this perception of like, well, your business is focused around veganism. So like you were just in it for the money and you were sharing things about veganism when you weren't really vegan. Never happened. Did not happen in any way, shape or form. And it's like, well, you had retreats and you had vegan food there, so you were leading people astray. No. My last retreat was in July, almost a year ago at this point, which was months before I changed my diet and stopped being vegan. That retreat was totally vegan. I was totally vegan there. I hadn't even considered not being vegan at that retreat. And then my next retreat was in March, right before I released my I'm No Longer Vegan video, and I talked about it at that retreat. I said like, listen, you girls are here for a reason. You're kind of like, you're in my inner circle, you know me, and the people who come to retreats are obviously individuals who love me for who I am. At least I would hope that. Anyway, so I talked about it at the retreat because I knew it was a safe place And I was prepared to have some people triggered or upset, and I wanted to talk through it with them in person and just kind of like, yeah, just be real and talk about it before I opened it up to everyone else, because I thought it would be weird if I had that retreat and they didn't know that my diet had changed, and then like a week later I came out with a video. When I was in Australia, which is where that retreat was, I had planned to, when I got back home, make the video and put it up. So there's another like story going around of like, you just shared right after Ravana shared that she's no longer vegan because you wanted to like ride on that. No, I literally, like, I have messages with Yovana where I was telling her my video is going up this day, and I had planned it when I was in Australia. So no, that's not true. I had planned to get the video up. I had it filmed by the time that Yovana's went up, and I was editing it. Anyway, so there's that. What else? I think the biggest, one of the things that's really hard for me right now that I feel the most passionate about is like, separate from people telling me I'm a horrible person and misreading my intentions behind everything, is I think that incorporated in these videos that I watched of someone making them about me, I think that there was some info brought up about money and my intentions behind money. Before I even dive into this part of the conversation, I'm gonna link a video about my views on money down below, which I filmed over a year ago at this point, I think like a year and a half ago, which very clearly states my views on money. So there's that. But yeah, there's been some individuals who have been wanting to assume what my motivation behind all that I do is. So there is this assumption or preference to believe that I'm money hungry, I'm scamming, that my retreats cost way too much and nobody's benefiting from them, and that I'm just a fucking scam artist, and that my new mentorship program, Alignment Accelerator, is just like a ripoff, and I'm charging way too much, and this is what it is that individuals are saying. That I am taking advantage of vulnerable girls. Let's talk about this one. Dude, I'm taking advantage of vulnerable girls. Okay. So first of all, let's go back to why I started Raw Alignment, why I got on social media. About 5 years ago, a little over 5 years ago, I was at my rock bottom in life. I was really struggling with my health, physical health, mental health. Like, I was just depressed, and I had a really hard time with my relationship with food. And so I decided to go vegan. I decided to start meditating and journaling and saying positive affirmations and just kind of like letting go of a lot of relationships that I didn't feel were really bringing me up, and just changing every aspect of my life at one time. And so my life drastically changed very quickly. I felt so much better so quickly. And because of this, I felt so inspired to share my journey, because I wanted other people to know that they could feel that too in such a short amount of time. It was like a matter of days, and especially a matter of weeks in the first few months, that I dove into all of these things consistently, that I felt so much better. Like, my life turned around. So that was when I created Raw Alignment. And one of my main inspirations in like getting on YouTube was that I was following Fully Raw Christina, and she inspired me to eat totally raw. Like, I didn't really know what like a standard vegan diet was. I kind of first approached veganism through eating raw. And so the fact that her videos inspired me so much to like lift this aspect of my life and really like clean out the processed food and just eat raw fruits and vegetables, I was like, oh my gosh, she helped change my life, like watching her videos. And so I want to make videos to help other people with the things that I'm learning and just share my journey. That was the beginning of Raw Alignment. And as time went on, I started to learn more about how I can help people. So in more ways than just making videos, I started to send out monthly emails, monthly newsletters. Shout out to anyone who's still here who used to get my monthly newsletters like 4 or 5 years ago. I started doing like little ebooks and little cleanse programs and like just kind of sharing what I was learning on my journey. And then I just learned how to create different programs. I created like a monthly membership last year. And my friend Megan Elizabeth, I hosted my first retreat ever with her, and she kind of showed me the ropes of how to do it. And then I just took my own spin off of it, and we realized like we want to have different focuses at our retreats. So I started hosting my own retreats, and that was like a game changer for me. You guys can go back and look at my first ever like retreat video or my vlogs like around that time, and I remember being like, this is it. Like, I just want to meet you in person and like go through all of this self-development with you in person and have that like in-person connection. It's so important. It brings so much realness to all of this, because this is just like me looking at a camera right now, and this is just you watching a screen right now. So retreats were really important to me and still are so important, and that's why I'm continuing on with them. And there are so many ladies from the past retreats. I think I've had 7 retreats at this point, and so many breakthrough experiences. Like, the retreat has been the pivotal moment for people getting out of abusive relationships, for quitting their jobs that have been stressing them out for years, that don't fulfill them, for moving to a new place, for moving out of whatever it is, like just big breakthroughs that are changing the trajectory of their life. And so then I started with this mentorship program, and I started with this mentorship program for a variety of different reasons. This video is going to be so long if I go into all the details. I'll try to summarize, but I wanted to do direct mentorship, like high-level coaching, where I could be in contact with a small group of women. And the monthly membership that I ran last year, I feel like it just wasn't effective as it could have been, for a few different reasons. One, because of the amount of people that were in it. There were a few hundred individuals, and I couldn't have that like one-on-one connection. I couldn't really get to know like what these people were going through in their life, and like I wanted to just support people on a higher level, on a more personal level. And another aspect of the membership was that it was $10 a month. And what I realized was that there wasn't a very like high level of emotional investment, and I noticed that that was not in every single case, but in lots of cases like tied to their financial investment. And so in being in this like business entrepreneur space, I've been tuning into what a lot of other people are doing, what my mentors have been doing, business mentors, just various people in this space have been doing, and what works and what doesn't, in a sense of like what provides the transformation, what provides the space where the transformation can take place, and what doesn't. And there tends to be a theme with higher ticket, like higher priced programs, and more intimacy, where people are actually experiencing transformation and breakthroughs, and it's a pivotal point in their journey where they start to level up and things start to change. Whereas a lower ticket, lower priced item, it doesn't drive that same feeling of like personal accountability and investment. This is something that might sound freaking weird if you haven't experienced it yourself, but I've had multiple girls in my mentorship program say like, dude, I literally had to make this investment in order to have this high level accountability. And like now I see it, now that I'm in it, like the investment felt scary at first. It felt like I'm just trusting my gut that like this feels right and that this is going to pay off and be beneficial for me. And like now that I'm in it, I see how that was a necessary step for me to take. It was like the first step into like deciding that I'm worth it. So there's a lot that goes into this. It's not just like I'm slapping a freaking price on something. There's actually meaning and reasoning behind it. And so another aspect of it, which I'll just say very quickly, is I have spent over $55,000 on mentorships and courses and coaching and like being taught by other people and learning through these other programs and experiences. And so that, along with all of my personal experience over the last few years of basically training my mindset to see the good and to have a positive perspective and an open outlook and just be like so open to growth. And like I said in the beginning of this video, like leaning into challenges. So all of the investment and education and insight that I've gained from my mentors and these coaches and programs and everything, along with my personal experience and the tactics and strategies that have really worked for me to help me become a stronger person over the last few years, that is everything that is poured into my mentorship program. And so I just want to share that. Like, the number is not pulled from nowhere. There's so much reasoning and intention and deliberate, whatever, creation behind it. And so it really, I just want to talk about this and just speak to it once, and then after this video, I'm done with it. I'm not going to continue on. And I wish I said at the beginning of this video, but I'm doing a one take, so I'm not going to edit it back in, but I wish I said, like, thank you for your patience. I know those of you who are watching this right now who have wanted me to just cut it off, keep it a clean slate, and just carry on with my life. Those of you who understand I'm a freaking human and that I've made the decisions I've made with the best intentions that I could possibly use. I know that some of you don't want to hear me talk about this anymore, and I respect that, and I just want to thank you for your patience. And obviously you don't have to watch this video, but this is the last time. This is the time I'm coming out, I'm talking about it, and this is it. We are at 31 minutes. Yeah, and everybody else, thank you for hearing me out. So yes, it just really rubs me the wrong way when people are trying to say that I'm taking advantage of vulnerable women, because one, for the mentorship program, I do not let in anybody who is in like a 110% vulnerable state, if that makes sense. Like, the mentorship program, that might have sounded weird, but the mentorship program is for women who already have self-awareness, who have a deep understanding, and who are eager for the growth that they want to experience. The mentorship program is not for somebody who has never gotten their feet wet in self-growth before. This is for people who are kind of like already on their journey and they're just ready to level up. And so, no, they're not vulnerable. They make their own decisions, and I'm not trying to force anybody into it. In fact, I will turn people away, and have turned probably around 4 or 5 individuals away from Alignment Accelerator because I didn't feel like they were a right fit for the program, because maybe their goals didn't line up with what Alignment Accelerator provides, or financially their money mindset wasn't there, or something just wasn't quite right. And I'm not afraid to do that because I'm in this for the transformation and for helping people, not for the fucking money. If everything were to crumble right now, if nobody signed up for retreats, or like something happened and I couldn't host retreats and the mentorship program fell, I would be sad for sure, because I feel that I'm finally engaging in the type of coaching and service that is so deeply fulfilling because it's working. Because these ladies have, multiple ladies in the program have said they're at the best place in their life they've ever been in this program, and they attribute it to the strategies that we're using and the methods that we're using. So yes, I would be upset, but not just for me. Like, I wouldn't just be upset because I'm losing that fulfillment. What really irks me about people saying negative things about these experiences, about the retreats and my mentorship, is, one, have you fucking experienced it? Because the results are insane, okay? I'm not pulling this out of thin air. I'm not selling air. I'm selling transformation and mentorship, and these ladies' lives are fucking changed. So do not fucking talk negatively about an experience that you have not been through. How can you possibly say for other people that it wasn't worth the investment? That is their place to determine and to speak to if it was worth it or not. So one, that just really, you can't do that. Come on. Like, you can't do that. You haven't been there. You haven't experienced a retreat. You haven't been there in person, bawling your eyes out, talking about the hardest thing you've ever been through, and releasing what's been holding you back for years, and then leaving with this completely like weightless feeling of, I've let go of that and I feel supported here and I have this like sisterhood that I've never felt before. You haven't experienced that, so do not talk down to these things that you haven't experienced. You can't do that, and it irritates me, not because it's my baby that I've created. It irritates me because it throws shade on an experience that so many people's lives would be changed if they had that experience. So for you to talk negatively about the retreat experience or about my mentorship, You are like taking that fucking opportunity from other people who might read your comment or might see a video that you make of me. And I don't know even who I'm directly talking to at this point. I'm talking to the people who are putting these comments out there and saying that this is my motivation and like this is the issue and like all of this shit. And like, you are just robbing someone of the opportunity when they see your comment and then they're confused, like, oh wait, is this a positive experience or is it a scam? And that's not fucking fair, because people need this experience in their life. And it is as clear as day when people come to the retreats and join the mentorship that they are ready to have this guidance, that they're ready to have this community and support and the tools that they need to rise above the challenges. So you don't do that. Come on. Like, don't take that opportunity away from people. That is why I'm so heated about it and so passionate about it. It really, yeah. So that is a lot of what I wanted to share. I also want to share you can like read someone as much as you can possibly read someone through a video. Like, I can share as much about myself and pour as much about myself and my character and my motivation behind doing things and my way of being and like my freaking morning routine and like everything. I can share about my past and my future goals. Like, I can share so much, but there's an extent of how well you can know somebody just through watching their videos. And I wish that you could feel more connected to me. I wish that I could feel more connected to you, and I wish that you could understand who I really am at the core. But I understand that that's not possible, because that's what human connection is for, right? We can't get that far when we're watching videos. And so I try my hardest to be as transparent as I possibly can and to make it really clear that my motivation is pure and I just want to freaking help people from my previous experience and everything that I've learned from my mentors and programs and everything I've been through. And yes, there's individuals to say like, you're not qualified enough. Okay. I don't have to have all of these qualifications in order to add value to someone's life. Just like you don't. You don't need to have all of these qualifications. And of course, it depends what line of work you're going through. But the line of work that I'm going through, it doesn't require that. And you don't need that in order to be a light to someone else, in order to make someone feel seen and make someone feel heard and to make someone feel like they can do what they dream of doing. And they can release what's holding them back, and they can step out of that, and they can break through the societal expectations, and they can pursue what they really want. You don't need a degree to talk about these things. You don't need intense like levels of qualification. I understand that what I'm doing could be triggering to somebody who does have a lot of qualification but feels like they don't have the space or the platform or the voice to carry their message and to help other people, but that's not my wrongdoing. You can share from your heart and from your core, and you can help make a positive impact on people's lives too. So, I'm not sure what else I want to say. I feel like I've covered a lot. This is almost 40 minutes long, and I am going to leave as is, no editing. I really want to close the comment section on this video, but I'm not going to. I want to make it clear that I want my voice to be heard about this topic, about everything that I shared in this video. And I want it to be clear that, like, I'm human. You're human. We are of the same. And when someone calls me a lying psychopath bitch with like mental issues, yo, you should go get help for that. That was like not even as harsh as it gets. But like, fuck, people trying to like misread me, saying that I'm bipolar, I'm a fucking psychopath, I'm a scam artist, I'm gaslighting my viewers, I'm all of these things that, like, dude, you don't know me in person. And I get everyone has the right to have their own perception of what I share on the internet. I get that, I accept that, I'm cool with that. But, like, do you have to shove it down my throat in the comment section? Do you have to tell me as if you know that I have all of these mental issues? Because the people who know me in person know that I'm so fucking mentally healthy, that I'm so far away from these things that you're accusing me of in regards to, like, being a scam artist and having these evil fucked intentions and, like, taking advantage of people. Like, fuck, the people who know me in person are just like, what is going on? Why are people saying this? It's just like, ugh, okay. Anyway, I am human. It has hurt me, the things that have been said. A lot. A lot. A lot. It has hurt me a fucking lot. And it's really not nice. And I'm really trying to not play the victim card, because that was very abundant in the comment section of my life update video, that, like, there's too much playing the victim in this video. Like, I'm out. Peace. Unsubscribed. I do not care. If you don't want to be here, please feel free to go. Like, you're so welcome to tune into content and individuals and whatever that resonates with you. If this doesn't resonate with you, please, like, you don't, like, fuck, why are you watching? Why are you watching if this deeply doesn't resonate with you? There is so much information out there to tune into that resonates with you, that helps you grow, that helps inspire you, challenge you, all the things. And if what I shared does still do all of that and you're just hurt, let's talk about that for a second. But let's fucking slow down with the hate comments. So, okay, let's talk about the neighbors are back. And I'm just hoping they're not hearing me, like, go off. Okay, so do I owe anybody an apology? Let's talk about that for a second, and then I'll probably wrap it up after this. Try and end on 1 hour flat. Do I owe anyone an apology? So this is a very interesting thing to talk about, because I want to say yes and no. Yes, my natural tendency is anybody who is hurt, emotionally hurt and distraught and deeply affected by what I have done, my natural tendency is like, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry that what I have done has hit you negatively, that has really hurt you and made you confused or made you feel like, yeah, just like the ground has been pulled out from under you. Like, maybe I inspired you to be vegan years ago. Maybe I inspired you to stop shaving or to get dreadlocks. Maybe I inspired you to live in a van. And when I choose that that's no longer part of my present reality and that that's just part of my past journey and maybe will be part of my future journey again, I understand it can be confusing. It's like, wait, but that was the person that I looked up to. That was the person who I loved watching for that content. That was the person who, like, really inspired me to be healthier, to care less about what other people think, or to care less about what other people think about my body, and to just live on my own terms. But it's like, what was I gonna say? Me changing what I'm doing right now doesn't take away that lesson or that realization for you, you know? Like, I was here to share the information that you needed to hear at that point in time. And that has helped shape your life, which is so beautiful. And I'm so grateful for this platform and this ability to impact each other in this way. And so many of your comments, whether it's like suggestions or ideas or whatever, have really changed the trajectory, I don't even know if that's the right word, of my life. And so there's like this beautiful relationship, symbiotic relationship, and I'm very grateful for it. And I would love you to tap into that way of perceiving it, as instead of like, I'm a fraud and like what I shared before was a lie, or what I'm doing now is a lie. It's growing. It's called growing and changing and evolving for various different reasons, for so many different reasons. And I think maybe sometimes I don't document my inner dialogue with myself in my decision-making process, but maybe I could do more of that. But there are reasons that I've grown and done different things and changed what I've done. And so I guess that's the way that I like to perceive it, is that you saw one of my videos when you did for a reason. And here's the thing, is like, you could have just seen my van life video for the first time yesterday. And it could have been the message that you needed at this point in your life to decide to quit your job and have a nomadic lifestyle and work online and live in a van. And it could add value to your life at this point in time when you just saw it. Or you could have seen my van life video 3 or 4 years ago and had it change your life at that point. But none of me changing means that any of what I've shared in the past was not real. It was part of my journey, and it doesn't make me out of alignment with my values. I'm just changing. I'm just trying new things, but I'm not like an entirely different human. I've seen a lot of comments lately of like, I miss the old Alyse, or like, I love the new Alyse. And like, I don't know how I feel about it, really. It's like, it's an interesting concept because, right, I am going through this whole rebrand process with letting go of the name Raw Alignment and changing to my name Alyse Parker. And I like the idea of like a new version of me, but like, I really am the same at the core. And so, yeah, I don't know. I guess I just wanted to touch upon that because that's what I'm trying to get across, is like, just because I'm not living in a van anymore, just because I lived in a freaking beautiful house overlooking the ocean in Hawaii, and now I'm living in a smaller house, but then I got a van, and maybe I'll do van life again, and like, I started shaving my armpits again, and I mainly did it for like the message of like doing what you want to do and not letting other people tell you otherwise. And then I continued shaving because I keep getting this stubble back, and it's like more uncomfortable to go through the period of like letting it grow back out than it is to just shave it again. And I do have like a slight little rash on my arm, but it's not as bad as it used to be. It used to be like unbearable. And so it would be worth letting it grow out. But so anyway, what else? What else has changed for me? The dietary stuff, dude. I'm just figuring the shit out. I have no idea what I'm doing. But like, I do have a grasp on what I'm doing, if that makes sense. Like, I'm just learning as I go. Simultaneously, I'm learning as I go, but also speaking from my deeper inner wisdom and insight from my previous life experience and what has added value to my life in regards to quieting the noise of the external world and being able to maintain my inner voice and speak my truth. I feel like I can't even say that now because I've gotten so much shit for it without laughing. Anyway, I guess this is coming to an end. I do want to just wrap up this last thing that we're talking on. I guess I have like 10 minutes left before it hits an hour. I do want to say I'm sorry, and I do acknowledge that at a point in my journey, I think I've talked about this before, probably in my interview with Drew, that at a point in my journey, I became aware of animal rights and the ethical side of plant-based living. I was going to say veganism. And I did become passionate about it for a period of time. I don't know how long of a period, but I do know that over the last couple of years, I've become less interested in sharing mainly about diet and more interested in sharing about like self-growth and mindset transformation and all of that. And so I feel like there was a big misconception that I totally acted like I never talked about animal rights or that I never was into that. I don't know if I ever said that, but I don't think I did. I think that I said it was never the main focus of Raw Alignment. It was part of my journey where I learned about it, got really passionate about it, and it kind of like died down, and my underlying reason for going plant-based was for my health. And yeah, so I do want to just say, yes, I acknowledge that I did share. I had Instagram captions, I had Instagram photos, I had Facebook posts, and I do acknowledge that that was part of my journey, that I learned about that I shared that. And for me to change now is for my underlying priority of health. And I understand how it couldn't be confusing, like, well, those were your values, those were your ethics. Yes, I did believe in that. And yes, in theory, I like the idea of being plant-based for my entire life. But yes, also, my health reached this really messed up place recently in the last year or so. And yes, I felt hopeless. And yes, I felt like I had to let go of that value or override that value and just give myself a 1-week experiment and like pray to God that I would start feeling better and that I was willing to try anything, like literally anything. And so yeah, that's my story. I'm not lying about any of that. I'm not pretending like that wasn't part of my journey, but it wasn't the main focus of Raw Alignment from the start to the finish, or even in the very beginning. It was health and living like your raw, authentic truth, and love and self-growth and compassion and all of that. So I do want to say I'm sorry to anyone who has been like confused or waiting for this video, just wanting me to speak about it, wanting me to say sorry. And yeah, I've gone back and taken down a lot of my food-related videos from the beginning just because I no longer really feel the need to share that with the world. I know there were a lot of requests for me to do that when I first came out with my I'm No Longer Vegan video, and I was like, no, like it's part of my journey. I don't want to get rid of that. But then I took the time to go through and watch the videos, and I realized like, yeah, I don't know. There were some of them that I just prefer not to have public and share anymore, but there are definitely a few food-related ones and all of that I did leave up. So yeah, I'm just doing the best that I can. I really appreciate you being here. I'm trying to think if there's anything I missed because I have 7 minutes left and I really just want this to be the last time I dive into all of this. Yeah. I think this covers it. Is there anything I'm forgetting? Anything at all? There is a misconception that I don't agree with doctors, or that I like don't see doctors. In my recent video I shared about my headaches, which thankfully are more managed now, and it's just a few days after I filmed that video. I've been doing Silo. He's dreaming. Yeah, I've been abstaining from caffeine and taking magnesium citrate specifically. I found that really helps with the headaches. So I'm just doing the best I can in that regard, but there were a lot of comments, or a few comments that got a lot of thumbs up, which is like, why don't you fucking see a doctor? Like, girl, have you ever thought of seeing a doctor? But like not in a nice way. And then there were some really nice ones too. Thank you for those nicely phrased nonviolent communication comments. I don't not agree with doctors. I am seeing an MD right now. I'm seeing energy workers, chiropractors. I think I'm probably going to get a brain scan in the next week or so. I'm getting blood drawn today, actually. Holy shit. I really hope I'm not late for this appointment. Shit. Hold on. I totally have to go get my blood drawn right now. That's a funny way to wrap up this video. Actually, let me see exactly what time it is. No! Fuck. What time? 12:15 p.m. Okay. Whew, no, I have 15 minutes. Wow, okay. So yeah, I'm not against doctors at all. I believe that there are doctors who know what they're saying. There are naturopaths who know what they're saying. And then there are doctors and naturopaths who maybe don't have as much experience or just aren't as good at what they're doing. But I believe there are good doctors that can really be helpful, and then doctors who maybe aren't as helpful. I'm not like black or white, like I will never see a medical doctor at all. And I know there have been some comments of like, well, you make it seem that way when you only see naturopaths. So I just want to let you know, I'm not only seeing naturopaths. Yes, I have preferred going the alternative route and then going to medical doctors, which is just my preference. I've seen some comments and it's like, you should always go to a medical doctor first and then go to a natural doctor. It's like, okay, we don't all agree on the same thing. I'm taking as many steps as I can. I'm trying to take at least one step every single day to really help enhance my health. So yeah, I'm doing the best I can. Thank you for watching this video. I hope it gives a more holistic view and clears some things up, especially just like the hard things that are being said about me that are just really, really quite assumptions, like people who have never experienced my mentorship program, people who have never been to a retreat, people who have never met me in person, people who are assuming because I have footage of me being a vegan and talking about how I never want to eat animals again, because now I am eating animals again, I'm a liar, or that I was lying at some point between then and now, and it's just not true. So I hope that this clears everything up, that really what I'm here to do is help people, is to use my freaking struggles and help make other people's journey easier. I'm really passionate about a lot of the things that I've struggled with and helping other people not have as tough as a journey, especially with the mold stuff and the neurological stuff and a lot of things. So I feel it is my duty to continue learning more about these things and share from my experience. And no, my journey's not going to be perfect because I'm a human. My journey is crazy. It is very, very all over the place. And I know, I can imagine it's hard to follow at times, especially when I don't, like I said earlier, when I don't share my inner dialogue of like how I'm making these decisions. Like, how did I decide to move here so quickly? How did that happen? It's like, I'm going to try to show up here more. I'm no longer on Instagram as of a couple days ago. I realized that, I don't know, maybe I'll go back to it, maybe I won't, but I realize YouTube has always kind of been where my heart is, and I feel like it's my main platform, and I just love sharing through YouTube. I love making YouTube thumbnails, and like, I love that there's a community tab. I've been very active in the community tab, posting like quotes and photos and updates and stuff like that. But yeah, I realize Instagram, I don't like documenting 24/7, like on Instagram stories. And yeah, I like YouTube a lot. So I'm going to be here more often. I'm going to try to be more transparent and just, yeah, more talkative and share more things while also maintaining my privacy and personal life. So I have 50 seconds left because I just want this to be exactly 1 hour. I will wrap this up by saying thank you for watching this whole dang video. I'm sure there are still going to be some who disagree, and I love that. I love that there are different perspectives in the world, different beliefs, different values like different ideas. What I do ask is that you don't demonize what is not your idea, what is not your perspective. I don't demonize what disagrees with me or really call anyone else names or really mean things like that. I please ask you to do the same. Just because it's different doesn't mean it's wrong. That's it. We're at an hour mark. I love you. Spread the love, spread the health to everyone you possibly can.